gonna be a BSA. Fine.
Okay, a meeting call to order. I would ask everybody to please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And today is September 10th, and welcome everybody to the Board of Selectmen meeting. Before we begin, I would like to offer our condolences to the Hart family, specifically Terry Hart, for the passing of Barbara. And I apologize for not mentioning this the last meeting. You know, Barbara gave a lot of her time to the town, especially in the area of affordable housing. And again, our condolences to Terry, and would like to thank the Hart family for all their contributions that they make to the town. So with that, warrant to be signed, Mr. Smith and Mr. Fowler, we need to make sure you review that and take a look at it. First thing on our agenda tonight will be the minutes from August 27, 2012. Everybody have a chance to go over them?
Yep.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes from August 27, 2012.
So moved. I was an independent, so I'm going to abstain. I can second.
Actually, I was not there else. I'll second.
Okay, you guys, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
I'm not sure we're going to be able to pass this if two of us have to abstain tonight.
Well, one of you can vote even though you weren't there.
Yeah,
Doesn't really
Oh,
matter.
okay.
you still can.
You're still safe.
All right.
Okay, any question,
I'm
any
okay
discussion?
with
No discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Chief, step right up, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have some good news about our handguns here in town,
Yes,
so.
yes, we do. If you'll give me a moment, I want to talk about another subject that's
Okay.
not on your agenda, and this is, I just want to make sure the word gets out. The Georgetown Police Department, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to read this, is our press release.
Floor is yours,
The
sir.
Georgetown Police Department is to sponsor a take-back initiative with prescription drop-off. The Georgetown Police Department is taking part in a nationwide initiative to decrease prescription drug availability in our nation's homes. This program, scheduled to take place on September 29th, is coordinated by the Drug Enforcement Administration with a one-day collaborative effort of state, local law enforcement agencies. Georgetown will have a drop-off location in the police department lobby on this date to receive unused and unwanted prescription drugs that would normally sit on the shelves of homes accessible to children and unauthorized users. Prescription drugs abuse has risen sharply among teens due to the ability to acquire it from the medicine cabinet in your home. This effort to reduce the amount of medication available will make it for a safer environment for those who abuse and for young children who are curious and ingest by accident or by experiment. Georgetown joins many other cities and towns in this collaborative effort. The drop-off box will be available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Items for deposit include prescription medicine, pills, ointments, and patches, over-the-drug-counter vitamins, samples, and even pet medications. Items not for deposit include syringes, liquid medicines, thermometers, aerosol cans, inhaler, medicines from business/clients, and illegal drugs or substances. This program was put together by Sergeant Scott Hatch and Michael Broderick. Michael Broderick went and got a mailbox, actually. I don't think the audience can see this, but a mailbox, and we had it painted up with a badge. And this program takes place on September 29th nationwide. But this service will be available to our residents every day from that day forward.
Right.
So this is a great program, and like I said, tip of the hat to Officer Michael Broderick, who not only got the thing donated, actually painted and set it up for us. It's in our lobby at the police department, and that will take place on the 29th, beginning on that date.
So it'll be on the 29th and forever from that point on?
Yes, sir. And it's just something we wanted to do for a long time, and getting in place.
No, that's an excellent service, because I had an issue where I had some old, same thing, stuff that just sat there for a couple of years from, mild dental surgeries and stuff like that. And I wanted to bring them back to CVS in one of the departments. They wouldn't take them. They said, take some coffee grinds and put them in with the coffee grinds and put them in your trash. That's what I was instructed to do. So this is great. This is fantastic that we're able to do this.
Yeah, this is a service at no cost to the town. Everything was donated, and the initiative of two of my officers, the sergeant and the Officer Broderick. I want to bring you up to date. Okay. This is on the Glocks. And again, we're very lucky in Georgetown. The initiative of our officers is outstanding. Officer Derek Jones, who's our range officer, our defensive tactic officer, he's always out there. He keeps his ear to the ground. He was at some training, and he heard about this initiative by Glock to replace weapons 1-for-1 and ammunition 1-for-1 in communities. He reached out to them, and I sent the board a letter. I'll read from the letter. I'm ready to inform the Board of Selectmen that Georgetown Police Department will be upgrading our present handguns, which are Sig Sauer 29.40 40 caliber pistols, to a Glock 21 LE Gen 4 45 caliber pistol. This includes an upgrade on holster and ammunition pouches for each officer. Officer Derek Jones was able to negotiate a trade-in arrangement so that we are trading our present weapons and gear even, at no cost to this town. There's no cost to Georgetown Police Department or the town of Georgetown. This will allow us to upgrade without cost our weapons to a higher caliber weapon and upgrade holsters and ammunition pouches, which if you watch what we do, getting in and out of cruisers, those are the things that take the biggest beating. And we have a chlorine or shiny style holster. So these the toughest piece of our equipment are going to be upgraded. Our officers will be qualified in the new weapon prior to trading our present weapon. This trade is a result of looking to improve our equipment at the lowest cost. I want to thank Officer Jones for his effort. The upgrade should be completed by December 2012. And what we'll do here is we'll actually qualify before we even turn a weapon back. We've made a deal that whatever bullets we have it's traded even, Stephen, and our officers even stepped up to the plate, and each officer, through their clothing allowances, donating $100 towards this initiative. And we worked that out with the bargaining units, each one. So you can't ask them to do more than that, So, and that's a great thing.
How's the track record on these particular weapons, Chief? Are they better than what we had in terms of longevity?
Yes. Well, longevity, it's probably the least used other than when we go to firing, But when I came here, there was one type of weapon, and we've made one upgrade from that. And that was an extensive expense to the town. We went to town, and we get the town residents, as always, to support us, and they did, and we upgraded that. This is actually, we've considered this a windfall. This is a better weapon. It's got the highest stopping capacity, and the bullets are such that if they hit their target, it won't go through their target. Mm-hmm. And that's an important component in any close, compact community like we are. We're a small community, but if you think about Georgetown, when you're in the downtown sectors, this is like any other, downtown community. So we want to make sure that we have the best thing, and God forbid we don't want to get in gunfights. But if you get in a gunfight, the weapon that you carry should have stopping power. You want to stop the person that you're pointing a gun at. A gun is not used for warning shots. It's against our policy and procedure. And if our officers point a weapon at somebody, it's a very serious incident. So yeah, I think I'm very excited about this. Like I said, it's just one more upgrade in the many we're accomplishing. Also, so we are in. If you have a moment, come by the police department and take a look at our new Dodge Chargers. They're all set up. They're in place. They have computers. Every piece of equipment was upgraded because nothing else would fit into them. But honestly, it's funny. I was telling somebody that I started in Adam 12. They're big clunk. I did.
You're that old, Chief?
40 years ago. 40
right,
years ago.
okay.
So you get in that car today. You've got cruisers. You've got computers in there. It's amazing when you look at I had crank windows. No air conditioning. So
training wheels too, Chief.
Did you have a crank start on that
I
thing,
had
or
an
what?
I had an old horse. But if you do have an opportunity, these are really nice looking rigs. So.
All right, great.
Yeah, come by, check them out.
Also, I wanted to update the board on the generator that was placed into the high school. That we did a check on that. Okay. As you know, I thought he'd be here tonight. Selectman Trapani asked us to look at the capabilities of the generator at the middle high school. So there was $1,000 allocated for that, but the light department stepped up, Wayne Snow, and he had somebody come by, and he hired Sherburne Consolidated of 40 Haverhill Road in Amesbury, Mass. They were hired by him to conduct an evaluation of the standby generator at the Georgetown Middle High School. I sent you a copy of that evaluation. On July 19, 2012, Assistant Emergency Management Director, Detective Supervisor Thomas DeJoy met with the facilities manager, Mark Anderson, over at the school. They conducted a survey of the areas of the school, and it was determined that from the evaluation and survey that the present standby generator at the Georgetown Middle High School provides power to the auditorium, cafeteria, and equipment including refrigerators, walk-in freezers, all emergency lighting, fire alarm systems, water sprinklers, and septic pumps. It was recommended that the male and female restrooms outside the auditorium be placed on the main panel to provide lighting in these areas. This would require a licensed electrician to make this connection. I've spoken to Mr. Anderson. He's looking into having that accomplished. Although the present diesel generator cannot be expanded, it is inadequate to provide power to the primary shelter in Georgetown, which has been a concern prompting this evaluation survey. There are cots and other emergency equipment located in the Georgetown Middle High School, and although not a perfect shelter, it would be adequate in the event of an emergency requiring it to be open to the public. And I've attached a copy of the letters. As the emergency management director for the last 9 years here, I can tell you that we've only used it on maybe 2 occasions. One, you're well aware of, Mr. Service. I know you came to the shelter on that date. The good news I'm here to tell you is that Diane, the director over at Trestle Way, they have a dedicated generator right now that's served on propane. It's for the community center. That community center, with that dedicated propane generator that has a tank, so we don't have to worry about a line being cut or anything, will provide a shelter in the loss of bad weather, loss of heat or power to the rest of the company. We can get those folks from Trestle Way and some other seniors, if they want to go over there, into that. Diane told me she will open that up to anybody in the senior community who wants to go to that, if that place in a shelter. I don't know if this summer we had a heat wave and they opened that up for anybody who wanted to cool off. All right, so that's a great asset for us. So with those 2 components in place, the high school by itself has potable water and food on a routine basis for about 500 people in the cafeteria areas. And Michael Anderson, Mark works for me as a cop, but twins. But Michael is part of my emergency management team, and we've agreed in the event that we do activate the shelter, he will meet with me. He will unlock the components that we need. So that's a great asset to have. And as you know, as a former fire chief, I have a lot of confidence in his abilities to help us out during a bad weather. So I feel pretty confident. That's it. If you have any questions about any of these
Yeah, a
things.
couple of quick
Yeah.
comments as I read through this. I wrote down a couple of questions. One was, how often is it tested?
It's on an automatic test.
Auto test?
Yeah.
And are we documenting that, in other words, that it's actually up and running?
No, I've got to be frank with you. That is a property and under the authority of the school department. I, as the emergency management director, only get my authority when the governor declares a state of emergency or you, the chairman of the board, declare a state of emergency. I can't even go in that building without permission. So that's their function. But if we do activate it, I'm pretty confident. It's a diesel. Oops, sorry. I thought I'd load that. It's a diesel-powered generator, and it will function. It's in
48 hours.
yeah, it's great working condition.
Well, what I'll do is I'll reach out to Mike and just ask him to, if they make sure that they're documenting that, testing it and make sure it's documented, so that if we ever run into an issue, we don't want to go out there and have to crank it up and it doesn't work. That's the worst thing that can happen.
I think, yeah.
All right, very good.
Okay.
All right, well, this is great news, Chief, on all fronts, really, in all honesty. Any questions for the Chief?
Great job.
Great job. Keep
Yeah,
up the
great job.
work.
Thank you, and again,
Appreciate
all the
everything you're
credit
doing.
goes to the men and women at the police department.
Do good work.
I'm very fortunate to have the folks that we have here at GPD. I'm very fortunate.
Please pass on the word that,
I will do
We're
that.
appreciative of it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time and attention this evening.
Thanks, Chief.
Police declaration of surplus property, we're gonna hold off on until next meeting. Lieutenant Cudmore will come in and make a presentation to us. We're gonna hold off on
Take
that. We do have another declaration of surplus property report that was submitted by Mike. I don't know if you see that, everybody, it's a one-pager all around surplus property. So basically, from what I understand, Mike, just old, outdated computer equipment, pretty much.
That's right. We have, for the most part, it hasn't been used in years, quite antiquated. And we normally have to pay to get rid of it. And our service provider, Boston System Solutions, will get rid of it for us for free.
For free? Okay. Any questions on this? We actually have to vote on accepting this, so.
Do we have to vote on a line-by-line
No, I would
basis, or just
say,
for the overall?
As presented.
Yep. All right, so, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept this, excuse me, this surplus, declaration of surplus personal property as presented tonight.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Questions for Mike? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
This is signed.
Aye.
Copy. Okay, we are moving along to policies. Selectman Smith, you have taken on the common victual license policy. We've obviously had a chance to go through it. So we've had it, I think, for a month now, at least. Could be going on 6 weeks. Before we entertain a motion on this, is everybody all set with this?
So just,
Presented?
if I could just maybe explain.
Just a little presentation, Steve.
A very little one. All I did, my whole concern was that for people who have been here many years in town, when they were renewing their license, that it wasn't confusing to them, they didn't get caught off guard in the last minute. So all I did really was create a section up front for if you're renewing a license. And then right after that is if you're new or modified license. So it was a simple change. But I just wanted to put that in there, as long as I didn't miss anything. I think it should cover it. So it's fill out and sign application form if you're renewing. And you just need to make sure that your site plan, which is laid out here, is on file. And then it goes through the Board of Selectmen process.
I had one small question on the actual permit, on the application. Will they just circle whether it's new or renewal? Or is there a box for that? Am I missing a box? Should we identify on this particular form?
I did a new form.
Do a new form? Because I missed
It's on
that.
that.
Crazy. All right, I got it.
Oh,
Says
I see
check
it,
one.
yeah,
Renewal,
check
there it
one,
is. All right,
renewal
yep.
new
I
business.
I knew I was
transfer.
missing something when I was looking at it.
Yeah, which you need to just approve or.
Yeah, renewal, new business or transfer licensing. All right, great.
Yes.
Okay, so it's now,
Because the other form really didn't,
it's now a two-part form where it has the fees disclosed.
yeah,
We're gonna use this as the cover prop, or is that just gonna,
well, some have more than just a common victular, so I can take the common victular off of this old one and just leave this one as the common victular. Oh, they could do both, I guess. I don't know.
Less is
That
more if we
makes-
can.
Yeah, less would be more. I
Yeah,
could
less-
add the price onto this.
yeah,
the top
it'd be
one.
good to add what the fees are.
That's the only difference of
Yeah.
the fee.
This way we're just.
But a lot of common victulars still may have the entertainment and,
Oh,
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
okay, right.
Right, so
Right.
this form's not going away.
right, that
Second.
form's not going away.
All right,
Unless they just have a common victular.
all right, understand, right, and that's pretty much flat fee, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. Are we comfortable accepting this and putting this one in the run column tonight, gentlemen? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to accept the policy for common victual license with one minor change that Janet's gonna add. Right, Janet, that one,
I can add, yeah.
the one.
I can add just the price on there,
Okay, so with
On
that
the
one little
application.
adjustment.
the fee, yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good, we got another one done. Mike will be happy.
Wow, look at this
So
progress
pleased,
tonight.
right? This is progress.
Moving right
Moving
along.
right along. Okay, so now we have a new
You're on a
policy.
roll.
Yeah, we have a new policy for remote participation, and I,
I know.
and looking at it, I assume this is, a lot of it's coming from, the K and P Right.
Absolutely. We received them, their memorandum to all their municipal clients about the open meeting law, remote participation, and they suggested strongly that, you know, that all towns adopt a policy for the, so everybody's doing it correctly, and if you so determine that everybody shall be doing it. It's not just one board does it and another board doesn't do it. If you adopt this, this is a
All the way.
town-wide policy,
Okay.
and everybody shall adopt it as a town policy.
And we would be, once we approve this, this would go out to all boards, all commissions, as a kind of an email blast, letting them know that it's out on the website, or are you gonna send it to them hard copy?
We should-
How are we gonna communicate it?
Well, not everybody has town email, so we would definitely, I'd send it to the chairs of each board or committee or commission.
All right, great.
And make sure that, and if necessary, have training. But we'll wait and see. The policy is fairly self-explanatory. I don't think it takes a whole lot to understand it. But on the converse side, no one is allowed to do it unless you adopt this policy either.
Ah.
Only the chief executive officer, and in this case, it's the Board of Selectmen, can authorize the use of this remote participation. And for the folks at home, what we're referring to as remote participation, the open meeting law was amended over a year ago to allow, if a quorum is present in the meeting room, other members who can't make it to the meeting for specific reasons to call in or do a video conference, however the technology allows, and participate and vote at meetings that they're not present at. So.
Did that change? I thought you couldn't vote if you were participating remotely originally.
No,
it's the same.
It didn't?
it
Okay.
just, the main issue with the remote participation,
Was-
you can't make up a
Quorum.
quorum.
Right, you had to be
A
physically
quorum
present
must be
then?
present in the room.
That's what it was.
And so somebody remotely cannot become part of the quorum.
Right, okay.
Do we want to take 2 more weeks to review this, or are we comfortable adopting this tonight?
Question.
Yes,
Is
Bruce.
Are we set up in the building to handle this? I mean, if we make this and everybody, is every room gonna need to be set up for
We
this?
have telephone, in anticipation of this policy, we have a direct line for this meeting room and the second floor meeting room.
Okay.
We don't have it in the, Janet didn't do the basement, did she? I don't think the cable TV folks helped set up the phone lines for these 2 meeting rooms.
So is it a conference phone?
Yes.
Yep.
And we also have wireless internet capability? throughout the
Yes, we
building?
do. Mhm.
So if somebody wanted to Skype in or, FaceTime, they could go ahead and do that if the capability's here in the building. We can provide the wireless, the actual board or commission would have to have the device, their own,
You'd
iPad
have to
or something.
call out and connect with the person, yes.
Okay. All right.
Now, we did accept this policy, I believe,
That's
last
what I thought.
year. But, so is this a change to what we accepted last year?
I don't think we accepted the policy. I think we accepted the chapter,
Enabling legislation.
Right.
But
Okay.
there weren't guidelines and completed guidelines and policies This is. a
Yeah, so this is just, they've come up with some policies, K and P, that they feel, or is this from the state?
No, it's from a client city, a town of K and P, and they offered it as a model.
Okay.
They helped them draw it up, so as not to reinvent the wheel. We basically changed the names, and it's good to go.
Okay, so, will and pleasure of the board, do we wanna give this 2 more weeks, or do we wanna go ahead and vote this tonight?
I don't have a problem with voting it if, I mean, are there any downsides that you see to this, Mike, or any unintended consequences?
Well,
That's the issue.
yeah, that.
I mean, that's ultimately, you know.
You know, I'm sure there'll be some bugs that we'll have to work out,
Hmm.
but as long as we have a policy in place, as you notice, in the KNP memo, there was a section on intentional violation too,
Right.
and this should, by adopting this policy, should relieve us from the hazards of intentional violations, I would hope.
All right, so then I would entertain a motion to accept the remote participation policy as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion?
Question now.
Yes, sir.
This will be up to each, we accept the policy, but whether a board wants to do it on that particular evening is still up to the board to take a vote?
No.
Well, what-
It's gonna be a town-wide policy, and everybody will,
Okay, because on the one before that we accepted, I thought that you had to vote on the evening of the thing, whether you were gonna allow it. So you're saying, once we do this,
the chairman still has the final say. The chairman determines if the board member qualifies for, I think there's 3 or 4 separate.
okay,
Once the chairman declares that that condition exists, and until the chairman declares that condition exists, you can't do it. So it's basically up, the final say is the chairman of the committee, board, commission.
But if the person meets the requirements, they have to be allowed to participate remotely, right?
I would think so, yes. I
You
don't,
can't really discriminate against one person versus, I mean, if they meet, if they meet the policy, they would be allowed to participate in any board, whatever board they're, which is kind of building on what Gary asked there. But, so if I'm away on business and there's a quorum present, and I inform our chairman, as early as possible, like the policy says, I should be allowed to participate. It's not subjective.
true, yes.
Right.
There are specific guidelines to qualify, and
Right.
when they exist, they should be followed.
And that would be true of school committee, planning board, all, they would, the same situation, as long as that member meets the policy guidelines, they will be allowed to participate remotely.
Correct.
Paragraph in the policy that kind of determines what should happen is the determination by the person chairing the meeting to allow or not to allow remote participation shall be final and shall not be appealable. Factors in making this determination may include, but shall not be limited to, the specific challenges faced by the board or committee member to attend all of part of the meeting, the relevant importance of the items on the agenda to be discussed or decided upon, and the ability of the board or committee to provide access to meeting materials. So it seems a little more subjective than.
That's
than
true,
just-
it's a little more.
So it's up to the individual chair to even allow it in the first place. So,
Again, I don't think it's gonna be that controversial.
no, I don't think it's, yeah, really, in all honesty, I
mean,
think.
We need
No.
more participation, not
Right,
less in most
right,
cases, right?
exactly. I
So,
don't see any reason to restrict
Right.
participation, so.
I personally like to see the person face to face. I didn't vote for it last year, and I
Right.
probably won't this year, so.
Okay. All right, we had a motion and a second? Yeah, we did, right? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay? Okay, motion carries. So that policy has been adopted. All right, Mike, let's talk a little bit about the warrant. Everybody have a copy of a draft warrant in front of them? So this is obviously not complete yet. There's some items that we're still working on that have to go on the actual, on the warrant. One specifically would be the request from the school building committee to put a placeholder in for the feasibility study for the middle high school.
Yes, in addition to the Pembroke School warrant article for the funding of the project through a debt exclusion, that's Article 2, we will need actually an estimate from the engineer to add to that amount. We won't have the amount on the warrant article, but it will be in the motion, as all our warrants are, for the cost of upgrading Elm Street. But that'll be included in the debt issue. Won't be reimbursable by MSBA, but
We'll have a full accounting of all those numbers, though.
we will, absolutely. A separate standalone warrant article for the middle high school feasibility study will need to be added. That's basically a condition by MSBA for participation in the Pembroke School funding. Latest figures are approximately $85,000 for that study. Should get a better handle on it tomorrow night at the school building committee from our consultants.
And will the MSBA be sharing in that cost?
No,
They will not, okay.
not at all.
Well, I thought there might be a possibility that they,
I'm sorry.
Pick up 50%.
I'm thinking of Elm Street. They have hinted that they'll participate.
I'd have been surprised if it was a straight no, so, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we should know more, once again, from our consultants at the school building committee tomorrow. I'd like to put a housekeeping warrant article on, has to do with some debt rescissions. Our auditors in their audit report had a comment that the town currently has 2 authorized and unused debt authorizations that have been outstanding for several years.
It did an
two
automatic.
commercials for Microsoft, though?
It did an automatic restart.
Upgrades, huh?
Yeah. Come on.
These debt authorizations utilize our debt limit. And one of them, and I have to do a little more homework on it, probably with the Board of Health, includes a septic improvement fund of $400,000. This was passed in 2002, and nothing has been utilized under that.
Let's be clear, this is money that's been authorized to borrow, but has not been advanced yet.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not reducing our debt by 400,000. All we're doing is reducing the authorization to go out and borrow that money for those purposes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's a small, several years ago, the town meeting authorized a bond anticipation note of $95,700 to purchase textbooks.
Bless you.
And there's all but $700 was issued. We issued $95,000. So we're not going to issue a ban for $700, so we really need to clear that off the books.
Okay.
So the town should vote to rescind these projects if they are not planning on utilizing the additional debt authorization. So that would be a standalone warrant article. And there was an oversight, and this, I'm gonna talk to the Finance Committee about these others, because they can handle it with reserve fund transfers if they so desire, or they can, you know, vote to utilize free cash. But there was an oversight in this year's FY13 budget. The ZBA budget, it was discussed and presented to upgrade the clerk's hours from 10.75 to 18 hours. When the budget got approved at town meeting, that number, the old number was left in there for 95.61. The total cost of the additional 7.25 hours is $3,671. It was my understanding that the FinCom approved that, but it never got into the budget book. So, plus the FinCom, I mean ZBA, doesn't have a line item for operating expenses. They take any of their office supplies, phone bill, copying, postage, has been coming out of their revolving fund. And if they did a study, presented it, I believe, to both the Board of Selectmen and I know it was to the Finance Committee, that if they continue to utilize it that way, they're going to run out of their money will be exhausted in a little over 7 years. They're spending more than they're taking in. So, and because they're known operating expenses, and every other department in the town has an operating budget for, and this one is relatively small. We're looking at $860 for the year to cover their phone, postage, and some office supplies. So the total amount needed to be added to the ZBA budget is $4,531. And as I said, the Finance Committee could vote to just transfer the money from the reserve account. We don't have that big reserve account like we did last year with over $500,000.
Right.
We're back down to $95,000. So,
And then for the next budget, we're gonna put this as a regular line item.
yes,
Expense going forward.
yeah, it was just a human error that didn't get added back in.
Right.
Additionally, I'm going to ask the Finance Committee, we've had 2 insurance claims that require each one of them a $7,500 deductible. And we didn't budget for that, so once again, they can either use a reserve fund transfer to cover those, or we can ask town meeting to approve the additional, in this case, $15,000 to cover the anticipated, well, one is we've already been billed for, and the other one we will be getting billed for between now and the end of the fiscal year, at least. So those additional costs have to be dealt with either through the Article 1 adjustment to the fiscal year operating budget or through the reserve transfers. And there's another small amount. We had short-term borrowing costs that weren't budgeted, and that's to get our financial advisor to issue and hold the auctions, and that totals $600. We don't have a line item for that in the current budget. Actually, the treasurer's office has a line item for it, but it wasn't funded. We didn't anticipate the need, so we're gonna need an extra $600 to cover that cost.
Was that for the ESCO bonds,
It's for ESCO and for the,
feasibility?
not the feasibility, but we used short-term for the CIP items.
Okay.
There was a charge for that as well. It was $100. The ESCO bond was $500.
Okay. And that's it?
Yes.
So we're looking at we're under 10 articles, probably total. We are.
Yes.
88-ish. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, some of those things, like I said, could be handled and.
Combined, yeah.
Yeah, so
Or
it
handled, yeah.
might be 5 articles, between 5 and 10 articles, max.
Okay.
All right. Any discussion or questions for Mike?
Are we gonna do anything with the capital fund and the stabilization? We typically do that in the fall when the free cash has been certified.
All right, we won't know the free cash number.
It should be certified any day now, but the 1.1 million is a pretty accurate figure. And Gary's right, that's one of the items that the Finance Committee has to discuss. I think I talked to the chairman today, and he's trying to schedule a meeting for the 24th.
Okay. And that's our next meeting is when?
No, it'd be the week before the 24th.
All right, so I would say we hold off on any decision on that until the 24th. So we have a chance to talk with FinCom,
Yeah.
attend the meeting and see what the.
I
what
mean,
the
we do
feeling
have
is.
a policy, I think, on that.
It's not, doesn't mandate that we do it.
I agree, but
Right.
I just wanna bring it up and.
Absolutely.
No, I had that conversation with Andy today to remind him, because he's kind of been out of the loop. He just changed jobs, and he did notice that he heard from the last meeting when I announced the $1.1 million free cash, and the policy that was adopted by this board and by FinCom last year was every year to look at the free cash amount and put up to 25% into capital improvements and up to 25% into the stabilization fund, leaving the balance, or 50% of it, for the number one priority would be the snow and ice deficit, which generally runs us, anywhere between 300,000 and 400,000. This last year it was less than 100,000. I don't anticipate that ever happening again, but who knows with so-called global warming. By taking that 25-25 approach, there's still plenty of money, even if we had the worst winter on record. Well, I wouldn't go that far to say, but there'd be a lot of money left over for snow and ice.
Well, let's have FinCom have
Yes.
their meeting, and then if we can attend, we'll try to, have at least one of us get there, possibly a couple of us. And we'll go from there, make a decision on the 24th. Okay. Is that it on the warrant? Mike?
Is,
Thank you.
I have a question
Sure.
on the, now you're saying on the Pembroke School that we are going to be able to put the road money in with the one question. Was that the way I understood it?
that's what legal counsel
Okay.
indicated to me that we can do. I've gotten the impression from our consultants that the MSBA doesn't like that. But
What's their issue?
they don't like they feel it could cloud the process.
I mean, if the number was really, if the number was, could excuse people's opinion, I think that's the scary part for the MSBA. They want to make sure that, you know, that they were voting on the school, pretty much in the school only. But I think this is a business, looking at it from a, almost like a business decision, that we should incorporate it in there. You know, we need to put them at ease on that once we get the number and talk with them. You know, we'll have a chance to communicate that to
Well, the
them.
question on that, then who's coming up with that number?
Peter,
Okay.
yeah, we're waiting on Peter. He should have it in the next couple of days, from what I
Yeah,
understand.
he's engaged an engineering firm to come up with a budgetary amount. We would obviously have to go out to bid when and if it passes, but that's how we do all our projects. We have to have as accurate a guesstimate as we possibly can. It still doesn't guarantee that it would be enough, and until we actually go out to bid.
Well, do we know the scope of the work? Because, I mean, we had many different questions that night. I mean, one was that, yeah, you could try to get an engineer and it would be a high cost of $1 million, or then there was talk that he could piece things together, do the sidewalk himself, do the paving with, so.
We're gonna have to get him in here and see what the plan is. I mean,
Okay,
to
so I
see-
mean,
'cause he's
I
the-
guess my question is that will be going through us as the Board of Selectmen and not the Pembroke School Building Committee?
I would probably say both, but it needs our approval, so I'm gonna say
Okay.
both. And when Peter's ready, you know, hopefully, he's gonna be ready soon.
Yeah,
tell us
typically,
what the plan will
what
be.
they can do with those estimates is they break it down in scope, and, you know, there was talk of, you know, signalizing
Right.
Elm
Yeah.
and Main. There was even talk of redesigning and signalizing at the other end of Elm. And, you know, redoing the drainage in between. So, you know, I see 3 separate projects there, and, you know, we can, you know, pick and choose the priority of them.
Okay. So, well, I'm sure we'll be hearing from Peter shortly.
Did we question whether we were on that deadline? Because at that tri-board meeting we had, you know, there was some talk about putting it off till spring
Putting,
and the whole package off. Did anybody, I thought somebody was gonna follow up on that, whether we,
you mean the improvements to Elm Street or the actual school itself?
both, the whole project, because at that tri-board meeting, we were hearing things about new things that come, you know, with the work at the high school, and you yourself were concerned, although I think this is going the way that you had hoped it would go.
So, we have an important meeting tomorrow. We're gonna hear from our consultants. They did go in and meet with the MSBA. So we'll have a lot more information tomorrow at that meeting. You know, to see what the discussion is around the improvements at the high school and whether that's gonna possibly hold up the project. You know, I don't know. I mean, again, we'll see what the tone was at that MSBA meeting about the particular high school improvements. So, again, we're at limbo probably till tomorrow night. We'll hear the story tomorrow night.
Okay, that's here.
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
Mike, can you give us just a summary of that meeting tomorrow night? Because I won't be able to watch it or make it. Just like a top line summary of.
Well,
To
as
the
I
board.
understand it, we made our submittal August 8th. The MSBA reviewed it, sent back comments to the committee and to our consultants. Consultants put answers to their comments. And there'll be one more MSBA meeting in October
Right.
where they will basically give a thumbs up or a thumbs down and give us a budgeted number for the project at which we cannot go above. You can obviously spend less, but if once they set that figure, that's the
That's
top
it.
figure. We-
But what, can you just give us, the board, a summary just on email tomorrow, or Wednesday or Thursday, well, whatever, Thursday
Sure.
or whatever? Just, just on what was basically the top line discussions of that meeting? Just because I won't be able to see it, and I could tape it, but,
No,
I don't think it's being televised. Is it? Is tomorrow? No.
is it up here?
I thought we were up here tomorrow night.
Oh, maybe.
Do I have that wrong?
I have to check the
No.
calendar.
Okay. Yeah, I just, I won't be
I'll
able to
be there.
attend and
I'm-
see it, so I'm just
I'm
curious on
gonna
what the
try
top
to
line
get there
stuff
tomorrow.
is.
I have with the death in the family, so I may not be able to get there tomorrow night, but
Right.
I'm gonna try my best to be there tomorrow night. So,
I will be there.
and Mike will be there,
Okay.
so we'll get a synopsis.
Yeah,
Either
just
way,
a
we'll get
quick
something.
executive summary would be great. Thank you.
Because I know that there was a meeting with the MSBA last week, so we're gonna get some real fresh information
Right.
and find out what's going on.
I would be amazed if it wasn't on television.
No, they've had most of them booked in here, so I
just-
think it is.
I thought someone may have said that this particular one wasn't for some whatever reason.
Oh,
I
really?
might be wrong. It wasn't on purpose. I think it was the availability of the room, but I could be cross-wiring my signals. So
Is he gonna be here tomorrow night,
We don't know.
From what I understand, the meeting's here tomorrow night. Well, we can verify that before the end of the night, I'm sure, before we go off the air, so. All
Yeah,
right.
look at it.
That it for the warrant articles, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. ESCO update, Mike.
You have in your packet a project schedule.
It's posted for the second floor tomorrow night.
Oh,
Was
Second
for
floor.
second floor? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is on the website, it says second
All
floor.
right, so the school building is on the second floor tomorrow night, will not be televised.
I think it's in your packet, but,
Yep, right here.
okay.
Yep, got it.
Um,
Everybody have the ESCO project schedule?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
The,
Yes.
I have extra copies if you
I have it.
need one. The projects at the school have gone very well. I haven't heard a single word, so that's gotta be real good.
Either that or not doing anything.
No, they're definitely doing a lot of work. As you can see, a large part of it has already been completed. As far as the town side is concerned, they were scheduled to start this week, today, and work for the next 2 weeks, 2 crews, changing, doing all the light retrofitting. And then in October, they're going to do the building envelope work. Basic weatherization techniques, nothing heavy duty, but they'll be insulating the windows and doors.
I did change filters and heating system last week.
Okay.
So we're here.
And they've started, they've almost completed the boiler retrofit in the public safety building, and they'll be, after they get the lighting done, they'll be doing the boiler here and the cooling tower. And once all that is done, then we can, get the outside of the building taken care of.
What about schools? Do I have- Oh, you know what?
School-
I'm looking at, it's a
yeah.
here we go with these two-sided forms. Good.
Sorry.
Double-sided copies kill me. All right. Good. Excellent.
So it's going on schedule. They have an aggressive timetable, but they're going to easily meet that.
Good.
Very good. Any questions for Mike on the ESCO and how, on the timeline?
I thought they might have been here in this building already, but it doesn't look like they were.
It's supposed to be today.
Yeah, today was,
I mean,
they were supposed to start.
It's just when I drove up, I noticed a lot of lights were out, which was kind of unusual, and I thought maybe they put them,
Well,
already put them sensors
I'll-
on and everything.
I'll tell you why they're out. We haven't replaced a light bulb in about 6 months. In anticipation of them
We've been
starting.
moving them around,
My,
Carry 'em
my,
with you when you go into them, you plug them in?
almost.
my office is about
Guys have
half,
flashlights,
half lit myself, and yeah, I mean, even the stairwell, there's some lights.
It's walking in
missing.
with tiki torches, you know?
But it could be also, you know, we're starting to drive up in the dark before it was light when we
Yeah,
were coming
well,
in.
They better hurry up before it
I know
gets
that might
dark
be it.
because we're gonna be.
The timer was off.
The days are changing.
Timer's way
You
off.
gonna work on those at some point?
There are some outside lights.
some
I'm sure they're
outside
probably
lighting
doing
for the
those,
outside?
I think.
All right.
If we have outside lights, they'll be upgraded.
All right, any other questions for Mike? Good job, Mike.
Thank you.
Great to get that project moving along and completed. Awesome. All right, appointments and approvals. We have a couple. One
Sheet.
was we have a request from the school building committee to appoint Joan Laporto, L-I-P-R-P-O-R-T-O. She's the new business manager for the schools. She's replacing Terry Wigan, and she'd be a non-voting member of the school building committee. Do we have to remove Terry, or that just by virtue of him not being employed automatically
I
removes
don't
him?
think we appointed him.
His
He-
term
he-
already expired.
Yeah,
So his term
he
expired.
was appointed, but
Okay.
by virtue of him
And this would
no longer being in that position. It's the position that's part of the committee.
Okay, June 30th, 2013. This appointment would go through.
Yes, yeah, I did that. You can sign, but you can read it.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to appoint Joan Laporto to the school building committee as a non-voting member to expire June 30th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay. We also have a request from Council on Aging. Let's see. They would like to move volunteer Nancy Thompson to status of a full-time Council on Aging board member.
Was that a motion?
No, if you guys want to make the motion, go ahead. Just to expire June 30th also, Janet?
June 30th, 2015. It's a 3-year.
3-year appointment, 2015, all right, so.
Is she currently just a alternate?
She's,
Or is this a new member?
It's a new
Totally
member.
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
I move to appoint Nancy Thompson as a full board member to the Council on Aging, with a term to expire June 30th, 2015.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
I,
Aye.
Okay. Next, our next meeting will be an executive session on the 24th at 6 p.m. Also, the regular meeting will be on the 24th at 7 p.m. here on the third floor. Did I miss anything? Any other new business to come before the Board of Selectmen tonight?
This one,
Yes.
tomorrow morning, the fire department is gonna have a ceremony.
oh,
Oh,
I.
yeah.
Do you remember
Yes.
what time?
Yeah, 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9
if
a.m.
anyone-
ceremony at the Public Safety Building.
Yeah.
In remembrance of 9/11. So if you'd like to attend, again, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. 9
Yes.
o'clock.
All right, very good. Any other, any other new business to come forth tonight? Hearing none, then, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I.
Good night, everybody.
The second floor.